Hello, miscreants, and welcome to Off the Cuff with David Toth. I'm your host, David Toth, and today we are going to be talking about one iconic young man named youtube.com/Will Stetson. So, for anyone who might not know what the subject of conversation is here, Will Stetson is an English utaite. He is a human being who likes to sing and cover songs of Japanese origin. For those who don't know, I, David Toth, I function as the regular lyricist for the man. So, I'm the one responsible for localization and translation of the music. And with the young man Will Stetson's birthday coming up in 2 days from this wonderful broadcast, we are going to do a little bit of a radio retrospection in which we go ahead and look at the recent work and see what that has to mean. So, starting off down the line, and most recently, we have the song Gira Gira by Ado. I'm of conflicted feelings about Ado as a person. Now, I'll have more to say on Ado as a producer when we get to talking about Usewa. But starting with Gira Gira. Gira Gira is a sort of folklorish fable. It tells the story of this sort of crippled girl who has this horrible birth defect, resulting in this scar that she has. And the song documents her feelings of inadequacy, her feelings of longing, building up to the eventual reveal that she was actually modeled in the image of God. And this instills her with the confidence to reject her status and her life in this way. It's a okay-ish premise. If I were to take trouble remiss with the song, I would say that I don't think it ultimately leaves with much of a message. The song more kind of just persists. At the end of the day, the girl sort of gains, she gains the confidence to live with herself. But I think the way that this works, the way that this is portrayed is sort of equal parts self-confidence and almost something like a twinge of madness. And the composition of the song is okay. And in terms of like our side of the production here, I do enjoy that Will does. He sings in various styles, reflecting the composition of the song. He typically sings phrases that sound like this. That normal sort of twingy, jazzy sort of thing. But there is a part, this part of the song here, that has a more distant, sort of therapeutic, sort of almost religious-esque bend to it. And here, he switches to a more higher in the palate, sort of breathy sort of thing, if you listen. Never meant for me. All I want is peace, just a small reverie. So, as opposed to, he sings it like, kisses ever sweet, mercy never meant for me. It's high in the palate and has more of a sort of classical choir sort of thing, which fits in with the vaguely religious imagery all throughout the song. This idea of the girl being the image of God and whatnot. Gira Gira is okay. When writing the lyrics, this wasn't a particularly hard song to write for. The melodies that are on display are quite basic. There's no weird subdivision at any point. It's mostly just a pretty straightforward portrayal of a melodic line. I think the only notable really things with the translation that I did that might be a little off are that I chose to keep Gira Gira and Mela Mela as Gira Gira and Mela Mela when they are said in the chorus. The chorus starts with Gira Gira da da ba da da, and Gira Gira is just an onomatopoeia. It's like a pika pika, meaning, or kita kita, which kind of just mean sparkling or shining, respectively. Gira Gira is similar to that. If you listen to it at the end, this line, but still I'm shining on, uses that same adjective gira. But in the context of the song, it is both not only the name of the song, but something put with a lot of stress put on it, And there is no direct onomatopoeia that is quite the same. We don't have those true sound onomatopoeias like gira gira kira kira pika pika in English. So for simple legibility, I kept them the same. This line was also a pain in the ass to write. This is talking about like fireworks in the eyes. It's something along the lines of there's fire. There are fireworks. There's a milligram of fireworks going off in my eye, which seems like it's probably referential to something, as opposed to just the very bizarre line that it was. So I didn't put much emphasis on the translation of that. I just kind of let bygones be bygones with that. Let me just give my lyrics a once over here, see if there was anything else. I did a lot of independent clauses that are linked with the horizontal dash and or semicolon. It's a common enough occurrence that I do this double line here. It's, if anyone has ever read anything by Kinoko Nasu, like Fate or Tsukihime, it's a very common thing in his style of writing to have lots of these breaks in the flow. And it just ended up being what I was going to do here. Well, I think I'll talk more about the song when we go back to talking about Usewa, which I have a lot to say about. I have a lot to say about Usewa. But Gira Gira, I'm not the most interested in, so we're just gonna stay here. So Gira Gira is over. Now this one is awesome. So Hated by Life itself is obviously just an iconic song. It's an iconic song that has been a huge part of the Vocaloid community ever since Kanzaki Iori released the song. Hated by Life itself is a rather straightforward piece of music. It is about being hated by life itself. It is a commentary lamenting one's place in the world. It's talking about feelings of inadequacy, and ultimately, what I like about the song is that the point of the song dials back around to being about the cherishing of connection and life in spite of the adversity one faces. In the normal Hated by Life itself, all of the "we are hated by life itself" lines, all of the life is unfair, all of this negates itself in the final chorus, where the real revelation of the song is this desire to have lived and to have been with various people that are non-specific because they don't need to be specific, but they are impactful to the viewer. The point of Hated by Life itself is not that we should lament in what we don't have or lament in our circumstances, but treasure the things that we do care about. It's a great song. Now, this rap version is pretty interesting. This rap version is a song. I first heard it through this. I guess she's kind of a VTuber. I'm just scrolling down right now in the vague hope that I will just. Wow, look, there it is. I first heard it through this lovely lady who is a pretty great singer. As you can see, I'm subscribed. She's a rapper. She does song covers, and she did this rap version of Hated by Life itself. It was the first time that I heard this verse, this rap verse, that I ended up writing. And I wrote this. I wrote the lyrics that are used in this video well before Will sang them, actually. I wrote the whole thing because I was just intrigued by this rap. The closed captions are on this, so I was able to see what they meant back when it came out. Specifically, it has this like speed rap part of it. This. I really like her delivery, and moreover than that, I think the flow is fascinating because the flow is actually like syncopated. It starts off normal, but it ends up like progressing on the offbeat. And yes, this is live and not a premiere. I'm just kind of flowing as opposed to doing as being too much dash into the chat. If you have any questions, I'll answer them at the end. But yeah, it has this wonderful syncopated flow where, let me like pull up this part here, the lyrics. When we get to, I'm stuck in the mud, just struggling, cut with blood from my rebellion, crying to God that it's my life, but in the strife I'm only tumbling. Oh, and that part is all, that part's all on the beat. It is all, I'm stuck in the mud, just struggling, cut with blood from my rebellion, crying to God that it's my life, but in the strife I'm only tumbling. Oh, and, but then, know if that's where you go, but so never come close to the love for the ones you showed up. You never even know where all the loving goes, is syncopated. And it's like crazy because it's not only syncopated, but it's at a breakneck pace. The you heard here. But from my rebellion, crying to God that eats my life, but in this strife I'm only tumbling. Oh, and know if that's where you go, but so never come close to the. See, it's hard to even keep up because it doesn't flow. It's not on the beat. It's I'm stuck in the mud, just struggling, cut with blood from my rebellion, crying to God that it's my life, but in the strife I'm only tumbling. Oh, and know if that's where you go, so never come close to the love of the ones you show. Like it abandons trying to stay on beat. What is my favorite song that I've written trans lyrics for? Break quick. Question comes in from Hiyori Itai, asking what's the favorite song that I've written trans lyrics for? I'm going to assume that means not what are the lyrics that I'm most proud of, but just what I have worked on that I like the most. That's hard to say. I, at one point, made I'm going to say I'm Glad You're Evil 2 is the favorite song that I've written for. In terms of, of the projects that I have worked on, my favorite thing is I'm Glad You're Evil 2. It's just one of my favorite songs. If you ask me what the set of lyrics that I'm proud of the most is, that's a bit of a more difficult question. I think I'd have to think more about that. It'd probably be one of the ones that I was able to do some hard localization work. Something like, I don't really like the song Hitchcock much, but if you go to Hitchcock, I know there's a big deviation, but it's still on topic. If you go to Hitchcock here, I'm not a big Yoshika fan, to be honest, but if you go to Hitchcock, there is a part in the second verse that I can just find if I look here. This part. Amazing. I jumped right to it. This has been well documented by people in the comments, so I'm not going to spend too much time focusing on this, but originally the song talks about kanji writing. It talks about how the kanji for money, happy, and then I believe it's shame, or it might be greed. It's money, happy, and then some negative kanji all have these things that are similar about them. They either contain the kanji of each other or they use a similar number of brushstrokes, or various things like that. And as opposed to translating that literally, because I just didn't think enough people understood the concept of kanji writing, I changed it to be about letter counts, which is a simpler concept, and I'm not too happy with that. But yeah, so as opposed to being that why is the character for happiness within the character for money, I noted that in the English language, there are 5 letters that comprise the words happy and money. And then, if we go to the line after this, that using 5 letters, so expounding the same amount of effort as it would take to write out happy or money, you can also write the word shame. It's not quite as good because it's a reduction. It's not that you lose simplicity in it. But that is one of something like that is work. Oh, this is perhaps not my favorite set of full lyrics, because I'd have to think way harder about that. But one of the things I am most proud of having done ever, also hello Zal, nice to see you, is one of the last lines of Shiwa here. So Shiwa is a great song, and one of my favorite things about Shiwa is this pun they do at the end. The Japanese love puns, and in Japanese, one of the last lines of the song is "Dakedo shiawaseta," and the thing that's cool about that is that the word shiawase means happiness, among other things. That's a pretty close definition of what shiawase means. Shiawase means happiness, and the way they stress it when they sing is "Dakedo shiawasete." So the 2 syllables that are stressed are shi and wa, which is shiwa, which means wrinkle, which is the name of the song. Now, when I wrote I don't know if many people have covered Shiwa. The only cover I've heard that is not Will's, or that's not the one that I worked on, is Octavia's, and Octavia is really cool. I love Octavia, and her cover's good. But she just doesn't try and translate, or she doesn't try and like incorporate the pun into that last line, and I don't blame her because it's just stupid. It's like it's stupid to try and do because the English language doesn't work like this. But I was very adamant that if I was ever going to do Shiwa, that I would maintain this pun somehow. I don't know why I'm streaming at my video is coming out at 360p. But yes, this is also something I'm just incredibly proud of. This is not a literal translation of this line. Takeru shiawasete is saying that at the end of my life I was happy, is the context of this line in the actual song. But I broke away from that a little bit so that I could keep the original song. Now when I was trying to write it, I originally was going to do wrinkle. I was going to try and make ring-kle. Like, I was going to say, I remember at one point I was tossing around the idea of making the line, the rings we collected. So if you stress it, it's rings we collected. And you could, it would vaguely be ring-kle, which was the name of the song. But instead, I decided to more pay homage to the original thing and make it alongside She Who Was Happy, as you can see directly in the screen. Where alongside She Who Was Happy, and just to make it really obvious when I subbed it, I put the Shiwa there. I like that. Yeah. Zal points out that he likes the perspective change at the end of I'm Glad You're Evil Too. Yeah, I don't remember. I'm so glad you're as evil. I'm so glad you love someone like me. Yeah, it was mostly just for flow, but in the end, it ends up having a slightly different tone in takeaway as well. It's all stuff that I think is vaguely okay. My chat is like, I have to like turn my head physically like a full 40 degrees to see the chat, so I'm only looking at it vaguely. But anyway, yeah, when I wanted to do the rap version because of Hated by Life Itself, to return to the original topic here. I wanted to do the rap version of Hated by Life Itself because I was intrigued. I was just absolutely blown away by hearing this. I think it's beautiful. And also, something really cool to note about Hated by Life Itself and our cover here is that the rap version changes quite a lot. It not only changes the second verse to have this rap in it, but it changes the beginning of the chorus, of the second chorus, and most importantly, it changes the end. If you go to the end here, yeah. So it's the same up to this point, but then it changes. Even if I might die tomorrow, we'll never know, so come, let's go, and there's a way to live the life we chose. So this replaces the ite, iru yo, which is, of course, how Hated by Life Itself normally ends. And the rap is actually just a whole lot more positive. Not that Hated by Life itself is normally negative, because, as I said before, the whole thesis is about connection, and it's about coming to understand each other and have this wonderful thing here. But the rap version really goes out of its way to say, in spite of everything, in spite of all the hardships you face, in spite of all this is like bullying. The die shut your mouth is supposed to be third parties speaking to the viewer and being negative. In spite of all that, who knows when the end will come? Who knows how much time we have left? So we'll never. Even if I might die tomorrow, we'll never know. So come, let's go and fly away to live the life we chose. It's just very overtly happy, and it's very much trying to convince you to be good and to try and be happy, which is just based, if I do say so myself. Yeah, I don't know if I like the rap version more than normal, and I really don't have much to say about Will's delivery. He changed some of the notes, like melodically, during the rap, at least different from this person. Like some of the actual notes are just not the same, which I guess doesn't really matter because it's a rap. I don't think Will's a rap god or anything, but the rap came out fine. And Hated by Life Itself just fucks. Just a good song. Now Envy Baby is hilarious This song is by Kanaria, who I'm sure at this point every human being on Earth knows the name of, because Kanaria is just stupid popular, and has been made stupid popular by the fact that every single member of not only Hololive, but Niji Sanji and everyone and their human and their mother has decided that King is the song they need to sing. And that actually makes a lot of sense. So I've said this before, but King, to briefly talk about King before I talk about NB Baby here, I think the reason King is as popular as it is because King is short. It's a short song. It doesn't take that long to cover and sing. And it just is, it's almost more like an etude. For people who don't know in instrumentation, an etude just means study. And they're not really songs that are supposed to sound dramatically good. Just to put it bluntly, etudes are not, like, they're not really supposed to be something you listen to. An etude is a study. It is a practice. It is something that's laid out in such a way that by performing it, you learn a skill. Like an etude might help a like violinist learn how to do a certain trill or something that is hard. They might have intervals, or they might work in the third position or something. There's vocal etudes as well. Etudes are just like little examinations, little tests. And I think King is almost more of an etude than it is a song. King, I think, kind of just exists for people to show off their ability to belt. Their ability to belt and their ability to sound aggressive. You know, left side, right side, give me a bit of, yeah, all that fun stuff. It's really short, and it's just overtly aggressive and dominant. And it's a sort of just tone that I don't think a lot of other songs let people show particularly clearly. I think that's why King popped off. I mean, King popped off for that reason, and because all the VTubers on planet Earth decided that they are going to sing it. NB Baby is not that. NB Baby is kind of vaguely just about toxic love. It is much like King, how King doesn't really have a point. That's the other thing that makes me say it's kind of more of an etude than a song. King does not really have a lesson. It really doesn't have a point. It's more just an exercise in tone. Envy Baby, I would say much the same. Envy Baby kind of doesn't really have a point. It's just kind of describing a sort of toxic romance. And that's cool, I guess. Envy Baby has not exploded yet, like King did, but King did explode like 5 months after it was released. The only VTuber that I at least know of that has done like a real cover of Envy Baby is girl Omaru Polka, and her cover's pretty good too. There's something about Kanaria's tuning, quickly before I actually talk about Envy Baby, as I really have not at all. There's something about Kanaria's tuning that I think is actually really great. Kanaria has this exclusively uses Gumi, and has this really cool way of tuning Gumi. I don't know. I'm just going to pray that that's Will Stetson. I'm just going to pray that there it is. YouTube is being very kind to me today. But like, just listen to Gumi for a little bit. Like, for anyone who knows anything about the vocaloid program, if I had to guess and try and emulate this, it definitely is breathy. They definitely increased. Oh, I can just show you. Or not. Where's my vocaloid program? 1 second. 1 second. I just have to find where I installed Vocaloid on my computer. I don't remember where I put Vocaloid. No. Well, to continue what I was saying while I look for where I put Vocaloid, is that I think that Vocaloid is, I think that Envy Baby is, they increase the breathiness on Gumi's voice, and I think they also decrease the opening. It's the throat sounds like it's closed off while also being really breathy, and I don't think that and it's this really cool effect that I just don't see that often. Yeah, my hard drive broke, like, little tangent here, like a month or two, like, no, it's been like 2 or 3 months at this point. But anyway, my vocaloid, my hard drive broke. It like my computer had just this stroke, and I had to reinstall my programs, and I did. I just don't remember where I put vocaloid, and I'm just not going to do it. Anyway, but yeah, I think that's what for people who know. I think that it's probably like I can't actually. Yeah, I think they like it's a little. They decreased the brightness a little bit. Did a lot of lowering of the opening. It sounds pretty closed off and made it breathy. And this just results in this really, really cool sounding Gumi that I think sounds awesome. Yeah. And because of this, I haven't really, not that I haven't enjoyed and covers of King or Envy Baby or anything else, but I really think the originals have something that just can't be perfectly replicated anyway. I think that there's just something the way that Gumi is tuned that sounds great. Now, do I think Will did a bad job, therefore? No. I think he did this in Gita Gita too, actually, now that I remember it, but he is like, he does like skeet shooting, that, where he just ad-libs in parts of other songs, which I guess sounds okay, but I do definitely think that just confuses the message a little bit. I'm not quite sure, like, Will's not thinking about conveying a message. He's just saying things, which, I mean, is perfectly valid as a way to approach music. But I think that it, like, the songs he ad-libs here are Usewa and something else, and I don't remember what that something else is off the top of my head. I don't really care. But like, Usewa has no, like, does not in any way relate to Envy Baby, so I don't really think it makes any sense. But anyway, to actually talk about the song a little bit here, and to go into the lyrics, this was rather straightforward to write. It did not take me very long at all. Again, because much like King, Envy Baby is just a really short song. It's 2 minutes long. And in terms of the construction, I don't think I did anything like super crazy with it. I liked the line that I have that's this. I really liked translating. It's just because in Japanese it's just aishitaru, which is obviously just I love you, but trying to like play into the idea that this is Envy Baby is portraying toxicity in a way. I made it sort of more like love the idea of being loved. And there is another part that, oh yeah, so people pointed this out, and I just didn't know this at the time. And this is a problem with, not a problem per se, but this is just something you'll encounter when you just don't know things, and when you have to go through second and third party sources, is that what is said in the original is tonareri, which I guess, like, because of the way it sounds, like can mean as is translated in whatever translation I found of Envy Baby, like jumping lady, quite literally what I translated here. But what it apparently means, which just makes so much more sense, is like crazy. Like the adjective is not supposed to mean jumping. It is supposed to mean like disturbed or like disturbed or psychotic in some something vaguely related to that, which definitely does make a lot more sense. So if I could go back in time, this would be like crazy lady. It would be anything besides jumping lady. But that's not a big deal, of course. There was another. Oh yeah, here. Another fun thing was this part. Does this have captions? No, it doesn't, of course. But I like the Jester Prisoner line, and specifically this part. If you look at the original, I just want to stop for a second. I've been really good at guessing where the parts of the songs that I want to listen to are today. I just want to toot my own horn here. I'll look at the chat in a second because I see that there's just something being said. But so if you listen here, there's a play on words with the way that they say this line that I wanted to try and preserve. So I had made it Alone They Hold Me because there is a natural rhyme to the way that they use the play on words here. And also, I don't remember what this is exactly, but this line was not explicitly this. It was not like explicitly. I can't remember what it was, but I remember that it was something more vague. And when I translated it, I took just a bit of a liberty here, and had this be, and made this line, "Jester prisoner, alone you broke me," and "Jester prisoner" on itself, on it, just taken in a vacuum, ties into the idea of toxicity. But having the "alone you broke me," I have there specifically to tie again into the idea that Envy Baby is about toxicity and this pained relationship. The fact that they are a fool, they're made to play the fool, all that stuff. And that's a fun thing about being a translator assist, is that you can take liberties. There is nothing explicitly saying that the song is about this or needs to be about this, but you sort of get the point of, at least when I write, right? I try and think about what is the purpose of the song, right? With Envy Baby, the purpose is to portray toxicity and portray this sort of less than ideal relationship, or that either is happening or had happened. And so you can take some lyrical liberties here. You can play with the extra syllables in ways that end up making sense to you in that regard. Other than that, I don't have too much to say about Envy Baby. I have a lot to say about Usewa. So if it seems like I've just kind of been skipping through a little bit, it's just because we'll get to there. But yeah, Envy Baby I think is pretty straightforward. I think it's an okay song. Much like King, I can only like it so much though, because it just is not trying to say all that much. It's mostly just meandering with a sort of vague tone, and the composition's pretty all right. Kanoriya, I think, as a sheer composer, is pretty good, if anything. It's definitely nothing atrocious or insulting. It's just in terms of tying it back into the lyrical aspect and trying to make a full package. I can only care so much about this. It's not prescripted. You fucker. I'm just good at talking. The Valley, I agree that I like it better than King. Have I ever thought about making my own song? I've Hiyori Itai asks. I've written songs before. I'm just not. So it's just been a long time since I took music theory, and I can only play okay, I shouldn't. not to toot my own horn and not to make this sound better than it is, but I can only play 3 instruments competently, but I can play 10 instruments. But that's just because I went to music school. It's not. I'm not some sort of prodigy. I just went to music school, and everyone in music school can do this. Hello Valley, favorite lieutenant. I wonder if David will miku other Hololive songs like he did for Hinotori. I was thinking of maybe doing that for Chisana Aino Uta. Or I know Chisana Uta, whatever, the Muna song, because Muna song is really good. Yeah, sorry. Before we talk about Usewa, which is going to be the main event here, we'll take a little bit of a break to look at the chat here. I think I know Chisana Uta is the best. Either that or Inochi by Asuki is definitely, I think, the best Hololive virtual song. Muna, especially since Muna is not fluent in Japanese. She's she can speak conversational Japanese, but anyone who knows Muna knows that she has a bit of a chip on her shoulder about her ability to speak Japanese. It was the whole crux of her relationship with Pekoda. And I know Chisana Uta is beautiful. Oh, it's gorgeous. But it's not even just that the composition of the song is beautiful. Muna just really does a fantastic performance. And so I'm not sure about that, but I considered it. It's an idea. Mafu used Gumi. Yeah, that my description of how Gumi sounded in Kanoriya is kind of like Mafu. That's hilarious. Are there certain songs? There are certain vocaloid. He reads this as if it was pre-recorded because it was pre-recorded. It's suck my ass. Suck my ass. I'm just... take public speaking. You take public speaking in high school, and guess what? You learn how to public speak. Envy Baby is, yes, the name of the song. We need a David cover of Ikanaide. Maybe for maybe for April Fool's Day. That's just, or otherwise that's just not happening. Ikanaide can suck my ass. Big song sounds good. Different. I wonder if making the song sound good in a different language is more important than getting the original message across. So, to this point, said by B12 Ertz, I think that your job, and this is my personal interpretation here, but I think that your job as a person who is making trans lyrics is to take a song and make it work in a different language. That means not only like making lyrics make sense, but also conforming to the norms of the language. So, for example, let me just pull up like any song. Romeo and Cinderella, just because I was listening to this earlier today. Classic vocaloid song. Anyway, if you listen to Romeo and Cinderella, like, people probably don't think about this a lot because if something isn't in your language, you're not putting a lot of effort into in analyzing its lyrical composition, because why would you? But Japanese music it is not a norm for Japanese music to have to rhyme. If you listen to anything here, like this ends with yo, right? So yo. Bad example. This is a new line. Just listen to like the ends of the lines for a second. Like sushi te te da 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 no. Like Japanese music does not have to rhyme. Now that's not to say that no Japanese music rhymes, especially in sort of more contemporarily. There's been a lot more rhyming in Japanese music, but it is not a convention of the Japanese language that your music needs to rhyme. But in English, it most certainly is. While there is some sort of atonal, a-rhyming things in the English language, almost any song you ever hear in English is expected to rhyme. So therefore, when you make songs like this, you follow a regular rhyming meter. You have stresses rhyme because that's just how it works in English. Now, when you get to other things like, do you need to, if a song has a pun, like shiawasete, as we were talking about earlier with Wrinkle, do you need to carry that over? Do you need to make that something that you need to preserve in the English language? Many would say no. I don't know that I think the answer has to be yes, but I think you should do your best to get the idea of the song conveyed across. More important than anything is taking what the song means and getting that from one language to another, right? The wording, the modus operandi, that will change out of necessity. But more than something that you can't just throw away is what the song actually is supposed to do and supposed to be. So, I guess to answer your question, I wonder if making the song sound good in a different language is more important than getting the original message across. I would say they go hand in hand, and more than anything, you should probably be trying to preserve the message, because you just should. Yes, Usewa is very much trying to make a point, JWR, but we'll talk about that point in a second. Let's see what else here. Oh my god. Hello, Catherine. Thank you for $5. Music theory. Okay, I think we can probably go on now. Ikanaide. Yeah, good. Okay, cool. Now we can go on to the main event. So, Usewa, I hate this song. Boy, I think Usewa is kind of poo-poo. So, let's talk about Ado, right? Okay, before we get into sort of what I'm saying here, what is Usewa about? Usewa is a song also made by Ado, who made Gira Gira. And Usewa is about gifted child syndrome. For those who don't know, for the uninitiated, gifted child syndrome is this sort of phenomena, the psychological phenomena that is observed in children who find themselves gifted at a young age. Because of the way that at least most Western school systems are structured, it is very, I don't want to say very common, but it is common for there to be people who coast on their privileged skill of knowledge. Naturally smart people who find themselves being good at school, who then find themselves transitioning out of school, transitioning into life and into the workforce, and at that point having trouble coping, because now you are in an environment that, unlike the workforce, does not care if you are not good, does not care if that just you're smart. When you have a job, no one cares if you're smart or not. You just have to do your job. So that's a fine enough. And just to say, me and pretty much everyone I live with could probably very well claim to have gifted child syndrome. But that's a fine enough point. But I don't like Usewa. And why do I not like Usewa? It's because while it has a point, and it's talking about gifted child syndrome, and it's talking about sort of this thing, and it's sung from the perspective of this female that definitely is unhappy. I don't think Usewa is making a point. To put it in really simple terms, Usewa to me feels like a song that is complaining. It sounds like a song that is going when I was young, I was great. The world, but the world is stupid. I hate adults. If anyone's played Persona 5, I would say this is a problem I have with Persona 5, where for all of the complexity that I feel like the story is trying to say, it inevitably boils down to the characters going, I hate adults! And that's what I think Usewa kind of is. To me, it just feels like it's complaining. Sure, it points out that there is this flaw in the system that people, grown adults, don't care about things, and they don't care about the right things. Their priorities are wrong. Everyone cares about greed. Yada yada yada. Cool. These are valid points. But what about it? What is the takeaway here? Because if all you're doing is complaining, then all you're doing is complaining. And I think Usewa is just only complaining. Now, to do a comparison to another song, Usewa is incredibly popular, by the way. It is it's really quite astonishing how popular it is. But to compare it to another song that was really popular and is about similar things, but I think it does not have this problem, I would point to The Lost One's Weeping by Nedu. So let's talk about let me step back for a moment. I think that everything, or at least all the things that I like, are best understood and best experienced when they have a point. People need to people should engage with something in order to take something away. If you look at The Lost One's Weeping, seems like it would be about this spends a lot of the song complaining about how school and the structure of school, and particularly the Japanese school system, pushing perfection and pushing for factual clarity, results in people who have a problem with identity. That is the whole imagery of Mamoru, the boy in Lost One's Weeping, looking at himself with a paper over his head. He has a crippling inability to understand his place in the world, because all that has ever mattered, is you being good, you being skilled, you being knowledgeable. It does not matter what you want to do or want to be. It's just about being good at things in the way that the story prescribes. But what I think separates Lost One's Weeping from Usewa here is that Lost One's Weeping has a point. And it is not only just putting things forward. It is not just saying these things are bad, because they are. It is not good that the school system encourages these behaviors. It's not good that we push out children who are forced into boxes that have this problem with identity. But there's a very important difference between Lost Ones Weeping and Usewa, and it comes right around this point of the song. Yes, I'm using Juby's cover. It was just the first. It was the first search result when I searched Lost Ones Weeping. But who was the one that let my hopes curl up and die? Who was that? Who could it be? Is it the big man? Is it the stupid adults? Is it bad society that let my hopes that ruined my life and let my hopes curl up and die? Who was it? No, it's not that. It was me. And now we have responsibility. Lost Ones Weeping is about acknowledging that the world sucks. But you need to be responsible for yourself. At the end of the day, Lost Ones Weeping says that for all of the trouble in the world, the only one who can chart your path is you. Even if it was bad, even if it like the thing is unfair, you're only going to succeed and you're only going to fail by your own standards. Mamadou has this realization that the one who like ultimately is responsible at the end of the day is him. And that is what's important. Lost Ones Weeping says, do you relate to this song? Do you have like, can you understand these worries, these anxieties? Look inwards for a second. Before you just keep complaining about everything else, look inwards and go, how hard are you trying? How hard are you trying to fight this? How hard are you trying to be something else? And that's what makes it special. That's why I think Lost Ones Weeping is still to this day one of the like all-time classics. Usewa does not end like that. Usewa just continues to go, I hate it. Oh, shut up. Fuck you. and the last line I translated here is not thanks for watching. It is let's find it here. It's I don't give a shit. It's whatever you say doesn't impact me. I'm gonna be special in my own way. I'm charting my own path. And that is, at least to me, the way it reads to me, and the reason I don't like the song at all, is that it is childish. I think Usewa is childish. Like, it is the ravings of a kid. A kid just going, I'm not happy with the way things are. I don't like society. I don't like my life. I don't like what society has done for me. And this is because we live in a bad society. And sure, that's true. But what are you gonna do about it? Are you just gonna complain? Because what's that gonna do for you as a person? I don't feel like Usewa is helpful in terms of having a message. I also hate the composition of the song, but that's a whole nother thing. Like, boy, I think it's just not fun to listen to. But yeah, I hate this song. I really think it is quite similar. I really think the comparison to Lost Ones Weeping is pretty apt, where I think it's pretty similar, but I just think it's venting. And there is a time and place for venting. One of my favorite songs, or one of my favorite composers is one second here, is Nekabolo. If you look at like self-inflicted achromatic here, or self-harm colorless, it's not like this song, it's not trying to find a solution. This song is about helplessness. It's about like simply indulging in and drowning in your inadequacy. Self-inflicted achromatic is very tense. Pause the jazz here. Like, it's heavy. If you listen to the composition, listen for the bass drum, how it goes like da, da, da. It's like you're like forcing a step forward. This song is incredibly tense. But the difference here is in the feeling that's being conveyed here, right? It is like the feeling of helplessness here is This is talking about helplessness. It is about being crushed by the world around you. And obviously that's just not cool, right? Like, no one wants that. But helplessness is helplessness is not the same thing as anger. And I think, like, you can't fight being depressed and feeling like weak and outcasted. But just being mad at things without recourse, I just don't. I can't vibe with it. I don't think it's a useful lesson. I don't think it's good. Now, I'm sure no one agrees with me. I'm sure this is a flaming take here, but see a little bit of what people are saying here. And do a little Q&A or consult the many criticisms. I'm sure this is drawing, because I knew "Say" was a popular song, but oh boy. When you're working on a song that other people have written lyrics for, asks JWR, do you go out of your way to avoid them so you're not influenced, or would you listen to them as an inspiration? Well, I definitely don't care. I will totally listen to anything that anyone has written. If you look at mostly my, like the first one that is not Will is Ham. I love Ham. I don't think I've ever written the same song as Ham. Okay, a much better example is like every Kagura Project song, right? Like every song in the Kagura Project, almost Juby has covered. So if ever I'm writing for a Kagura Project song, like chances are their things are, and I'm subscribed to Jubyphonic. I've been subscribed to Jubyphonic since like 2010. You know, but I don't think they. It's easy enough for me to disconnect myself from the things that I've heard, right? So I don't really like. I'm not. There's no worry for me that I'm accidentally going to just end up copying them. And sometimes I pay homage. Like in the lyrics that I wrote for Servant of Evil, there is a line that I just used the same exact line for at one point that one of my favorite English Taite N, that is ENN, sings, used in her Servant of Evil lyrics, because I think she kills it. Oh my God, she kills it. And her style very much informed the way I went thinking about that song. So, no, I wouldn't say I avoid them in any way. Gifted Kid Syndrome is real, but gifted children. Boop, 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 boo. Questions. Doop-a-doop-a-boo. Getting into Sewa. Okay. Okay, good. Well, okay. I'm happy to see that I am not being torn to shreds. But, yeah, I think Usewa is like, if you're someone who finds comfort in listening to Usewa, that's cool. But, like, I would recommend trying to turn that energy towards something more constructive. Because I would not call Usewa constructive. I would call it passive. I think you're moving neutrally, laterally, or perhaps destructive. I wouldn't say it's good for you. Now, a lot of people just like want to listen to music, but I can't divorce myself from the meaning of a song. And for something like Usewa, I just can't enjoy it much. Yeah, B12 says that the message is lacking, but you still think Usewa's a jam. I mean, that's totally your prerogative. If you like the composition of the song, like I said, I'm not a big fan of its composition either. But like, if you want to like something strictly musically, that's fine. Like we were talking about just before, the Kanoriya songs aren't like particularly deep at all. Especially King. King has got almost no point, but it sounds cool. And sometimes that's all you need. Sometimes that's all you need. Hi, Natalie. Good to see you. Have I heard Trickle's version of Usewa? I don't remember if I have. I don't know. I don't actually know. I'll look it up later. I don't think I've heard another English version ever. So no, but I really just could have possibly forgotten. Any other questions here? Oh, Natalie, you don't want to see my browser history. Yeah, so JWR, when I say Used was passive, I mean that it's not making life, you're like life is not changing as a result of it. Oh my god. Like it's not trying to make you move in a direction. It's not trying to inform how you live. It's keeping things the same. It's just yelling about them, which I would not call motion up or down. Though that's not a good habit. I would say that would generally lead someone to making worse choices in their life. But it's not trying to give you something to work from. It is just kind of yelling about things. And are you saying it, Valley? I feel like I must have seen it then, because I am subscribed to you. Whatever. I'll figure it out. What do I think of religion and of loneliness and people allergy? Asks, I just want to cha-cha slide my way into your heart. I haven't heard those songs. I don't know if I've ever heard religion or loneliness, and I haven't heard people allergy in a really long time. So I'm just gonna, I'm gonna say non-applicable, because I don't recall enough about those songs off the top of my head to give any sort of informed opinion. If I could make a Nusewa 2, what message do you think it would have? That's a great question. B12 Erzolds. I would say that, okay, so take a step back here. Usewa is about, it's about Gifted Child Syndrome, this is obvious. And what I feel very legitimately about Gifted Child Syndrome, as coming from someone who himself is a gifted child, and like I said, me and many of the people I live with could be considered gifted children. We were all exceptionally good at school. I slept my way through every AP class I ever took, and I took 11 of them. I think so again, take a step back. What is Gifted Child Syndrome? It's the phenomena in which really talented, intellectually, really talented people, waltz through school, but then when school is over and they're asked to be a real, full adult, they find that they find trouble in the things not coming easily to them anymore, because the world doesn't care about how smart you are. School cares about how smart you are, but the world does not. And the Gifted Child Syndrome is about rationalizing the fact that you can't coast on just being smart anymore. And much like The Lost One's Weeping, which I closed, amazing, but much like The Lost One's Weeping, I ultimately think that's a problem with you. Here, play this in the background. But much like The Lost One's Weeping, I think that's a you problem. Like, the world isn't going... You shouldn't expect the world to hand you things on a silver platter, because unfortunately, the world just isn't going to. And you can have problems. It's perfectly valid to note that, yeah, the world's kind of fucked, and that people aren't always going to help you, and that the school system doesn't set you up to be... Like, it doesn't set you up... It's not doing you any favors. It's not setting you up to learn the skills that you need. But ultimately, how you live your life is up to you. So you can have the same arc. You can have it complain all you want. But by the end of the song, you really need to stop and go, but what are you going to do about it? If you're unsatisfied with your life, if you have problems with this or that or the other thing, what are you going to do about that? Are you going to just whine? Because whining doesn't get you very far. Of that I can promise you. Instead, I think you should look inwards. I think you should realize that if you want to change anything in your life, it's got to start somewhere. It's got to start with you. Good question. B12 Erzels. Any other questions here before we move on? Are you planning on doing any content for Milgram on your channel? Yeah, when the first round is over, I'll talk about the Milgram songs again. I made the one video when only Through Umbilical has been made. I guess briefly, just since I'm here, I'll talk a little bit about the other songs. Like, I mean, a little bit as in like a little bit about the other songs. But I'll wait until the first round is over, and then I'll probably talk about Milgram again, like formally. Bring It On is awesome. Bring It On is awesome. I think Futa is innocent. Or rather, I think Futa deserves innocence because he definitely feels bad about what he did. After Pain is also awesome. Amazing. Banger. After Pain is also awesome. I feel bad for Moo, but I don't know if she deserves innocence. And for that, the reason I say is because while I definitely understand why she killed her classmates, I don't know if she feels bad about it. If she feels bad about it, which I don't think we have enough real evidence to know, then I say she's innocent. Pretty much my only criteria for if I think someone ultimately should be innocent or not is if they feel bad about what they've done. If you feel repentful for your actions, then peace be with you. You can change. And I really think Futa very much feels bad about what he did, which is why I think Futa's okay. Moo, it's hard to say. Shido, I also think I perfectly understand his actions. I understand why he did what he did. I think he's also guilty because I don't think he feels bad. Now, yeah, I really like this song and I like his story. And if I were in the same position, I really might do the same thing, honestly. But if the situation repeated itself, I think he would act the same. Mahiru is absolutely guilty. This woman has no chill. She seems to, much like Yuno, actually, be in like complete denial of her crimes. So that's my Milgram take. Is this stream going to be archived? Yes. I will keep it up. Let's see here. If I make a Friday night funding song, which one would you do? What does that mean, Natalie? Natalie, please clarify what that question is supposed to mean. Oh my God, I hate YouTube's chat interface. I can't, I can't navigate it at all. What song do you relate a lot to? What song do I relate a lot to? I relate a lot to I'm Glad You're Evil Too. I relate a lot to... I'm trying to think if there's song... I'm trying to think here. Delusion Girl. If we want like a more serious song, I think I relate a lot to Delusion Girl. I did relate a lot to Lost Ones Weeping when I was in school. No, because... you know, that's a very common... that's another... Again, Lost Ones Weeping speaks to a problem that I think a lot of gifted children like have to deal with. Yeah, stuff like that. Let's see here. What songs do you personally want to translate as a translator in the near future? I don't really care. I mostly just would happily translate any song I like, which is obviously the answer to that question. Something that's really sad is that one of my favorite, I made a video about this, about her a long time ago, but Kasumu no Toda, she's like wonderful. She's like my favorite producer. Her and Mambo P are probably my favorite like current producers, and by that I just mean people who like regularly make songs. Kasumu no Toda is just such a good musician. It's beautiful. Specifically this series. It's a 3-song series of, oh my God, what are they called? Your Lily of the Endless Night, Your Night Has Yet to End, and Good Morning My Diva. This is the last one, Good Morning My Diva. This series is awesome. It's beautiful. It has like, it's a really good example of using a leitmotif throughout like your series. This ending fucking gives me chills every time I hear it. 綺麗に名前はアイリリー何君は私はあなたが好きよ Gives me chills every time I hear it. I would love to do this, but Kasumu no Toda does not release her off vocals. At least not the last time I checked. Oh, she has a Pio Poro. Maybe she does. But anyway, I'll say this. That's my answer. Give me a song about stupid kids. Sante, if you want a song about stupid kids, don't worry, I got you. Mambo P here only makes songs about stupid people. I've been in love with this song ever since it came out. Competes for anything. She's Kachidoki-san. This is about a girl who's just an idiot, and it's just like in the span of like one song, it tells this just really endearing, like cute little romance, very funny, about this girl Kachidoki-san and our main character, and it's hilarious. Mambo P is a great producer, great composer, and it's just great. It's great. It's very endearing. I can never be anything but happy when I hear the song. That's a song about the stupid kids. I gave my verdicts on The Prisoners. Let's see here. Any other questions? Futa is innocent. Oh my god, YouTube, you suck! You suck! So Valley, to talk about Futa a little bit more. Do I still have Milgram open? Basically, the reason I think Futa is innocent, and we're not going to harp on this too long here, but is that like Futa. So for the song, to very quickly talk about what Bring It On is about. Bring It On is about like cancel culture. Futa is a guy who like thinks he's a hero because when he sees he goes around and when he sees people who are screwed up, he like cancels them on the internet. He harasses them and makes them so it makes it so that they're they're done for on the internet. That's how he brings about justice. But at the end, here, what his crime is, what his murder is that he leads this crusade against this person. He cancels them, and it's not. I like that it's left ambiguous as to whether they deserved it or not. But he leads this crusade against someone, and you can see here he has blood on his face, and he did not before because because the implication is that him doing this led to this person actually killing themselves. And if you just look at how he reacts here, Futa did not. This was not what he meant. He very much wanted to teach them a lesson, but he very clearly never wanted there to actually be blood on his hands. And when he finds out that this person, whether or not they deserved it, doesn't even matter. We don't even talk about it. But whether or not they deserved it, boy, he was not happy. This was not what he wanted. He's very much disturbed that he is now responsible for the literal loss of life. He's haunted by it. And for this I say that he's off the hook. He had sort of this childish idea about justice, and he didn't do it in a very constructive way. He didn't execute justice in a very constructive way, but he didn't mean for this. Look at him. Anyway, keep going here. Wait, you don't think that the dude that wants the death penalty regrets it? Again, maybe at a point that he would do it again. Did he say that he wanted to die? Did what's his face say that he wanted to die? If he did, I don't remember. But I remember Shido saying that he should die for it. You want college advice? Fake it till you make it. That's my college advice. I am evil. Yes. I'm not very tall. I'm like 5'9". Oh my god. I hate YouTube's chat interface so much. I just want to catch up on any questions being asked. Friday Night Funkin' is a song game? What is that? It's a song game, you say? Have you translated Konoha's State of the World? I know we spoke about it in August or something as a joke. I translated the part that's in the song medley, that we put out. That's like the 40 minutes Kage per song medley, but I did not do anything more than that. No. I'm 5'9.5". Shut up. Are we almost done? we done with these questions? Done with the catching up on the chat? I think so. I think we're good here. Yeah? Okay, cool. Now people are just talking about heights. Friday Night Funkin' is a rhythm game? Like, huh. Well, anyway, what did you ask me about that, Natalie? What was the question here? That you asked about Friday Night Funkin'? It's a rhythm game? If you made a Friday Night Funkin' song, so if I made a rhythm game song, does that mean like I have to write a song, or if I want a song to be okay, whatever. If the question is if I want a song to be in a rhythm game, I'm gonna say Happy Synthesizer. Happy Synthesizer is awesome. The song is like drugs. It just makes you happy. Yeah, I just can't be unhappy when I listen to Happy Synthesizer. It's one of the best songs ever written. Yeah. Okay, cool. Anyway, yeah. So that's Usewa. And then before that, there just wasn't like an English cover for a while. We're not gonna go forever here. I think that's probably the last thing here. What is tall to me? Someone asks. I live in a house of very tall people. Like I have many roommates who are 6 foot or taller. It's in Bandori, Dana? Oh, okay, then I can't. I'm not associating myself with Bandori. I really like Project Diva though. I've played a lot of Project Diva in my day. I'm not the best person in the world at it, but I'm pretty good. Project Diva's fun. Yep, and yeah, I think that about rounds up our review of recent Will Stetson works. There's other things like this crap, and I'm not involved in anything up until we get to here, which was 4 months ago. Oh my God, what is the sense of time? Yeah, but I think that pretty much finishes the topic here. So I guess I can answer any lingering questions, and then we'll call it a day. Are there any songs you think would be impossible to translate or make translyrics for? JWR asks. Yes. So to clarify, JWR asks, do you think there are any songs that would be impossible to translate or make translyrics for? And to that, I point you in the direction of one Pinocchio P. Pinocchio P makes shit all the time that I think would sound awful in English. Off the top of my head, well, even this, like, I love this song. This is Pinocchio P's most recent single, I believe, unless he made something else. But if I could just get to the chorus. I think the song, like, I think trying to translate the song is literally an entirely pointless endeavor. So this is a pun, as the Japanese love puns, but the whole point of this song is that rabbit, I rabbit, I love it, I rabbit, sounds like rabbit, I rabbit, rabbit, I rabbit, I rabbit, I love it, I rabbit, I'm a rabbit. And like that's the whole pun of the song. And unless you're speaking with a very specific Japanese accent, that point just doesn't come across. And of course you could like just translate it and ignore it, but I think that's stupid. A better example is, if I can find the song here, it's one of his older ones. It's Everyone Hates Vocaloids, or whatever. It's a song that's called like that. Or Vocaloid is dumb. It's a song, it's called like that. Vocaloid is stupid. Oh, where is it? Okay, well, I can't find it. But anyway, there's a song that's like, Vocaloid is dumb. And in there, there's points where he just like talks about like curry, or he writes things that like aren't meant to sound like that just if they were translated literally, I think it would just sound so stupid. Vocaloids are lame. It's this song. Like there's points where some of the words are like so out there weird that I just don't think I could ever translate it in a way that makes sense. Yeah. So a lot of the works of Pinocchio P. Can I commission you? Commission me for what? I don't do many things. I'll take your money. I'll take anyone's money, but I don't know. What do you think, Trent? What song do you think you translated the best lyrics for? Asks Blitzel Turtle. Servant of Evil is the song that I think I did the best job for. Servant of Evil, I took a lot of lyrical liberties. Like, even this first line is Kimi wa onjo, boku wa mashitsukai, which is literally, you are the princess, I am the servant. Which I translated as, oh my lady, my queen, I will serve until I die. Like, there's a lot of free space in the way that the literal translation of Servant of Evil, like, works. And I just went, I have a very big vocabulary. It's one of the only skills I'll, like, flaunt actually is really being a skill. I have a pretty good vocabulary. And I, like, just really went full on purple language translating this song. It was incredibly fun to say. Like, one of my favorite ones is, with a voice as gentle as the seraph's lullaby. Like, come on. It's such a grandiose way of saying the things here, but it really fits the tone of what Servant of Evil is, especially with the classical version. So that's one I think is the best. Have I ever thought about doing a translation of Terror by Nehru? Yeah, Terror is a great song. I think Terror, Drowning in a Wave of Sadness, and I Want to Be a Kind Person as like a series is good. I talked about it in a really old video I made once. But Terror is awesome. Yeah, I would totally do Terror. What do you think about the Inferno remaster? I think Inferno's a piece of crap song. So I think it's bad, but that's because I don't think it can ever be good. Inferno, like, shits on Berserk as far as I'm concerned. So, yeah. Natalie's having a stroke. Good to see. Can I get Will to sing Ahoy? No, but right now in lieu of Will singing Ahoy, I will provide you with my blitzed rendition of Ahoy. Kaizoku naru yo, oruka sakabe yo, sa ima. Oh, I forgot the lyrics are. Hosho kaizoku dan, shukusho! Ahoi, hosho marin desu. Haru life, 33年. Hosho marin desu. Put a bullet in my head. Yeah, that's as close as you're getting to Will singing Ahoy. Vocaloid are lame. Yes, thank you, JWR. Commission me for lyrics? Sure, you can commission me for lyrics. Whatever. Caught up on the things. Okay, cool. Have I been on? Okay, cool. Yeah. Why am I good at singing? I don't really think I am good at singing. I'm, like, okay at singing. Like, I understand how to sing because I went to music school. Yeah, the answer to the question, forget, let's divorce the idea of whether or not I'm good at singing. But the answer to your question, why can't I sing, is because I went to music school. That's the only, that's the answer to everything, is because I went to music school. Do ASMR for a sec? Yeah, that's something I can do for you, Natalie. I don't know what you want me to say, but this is for Natalie, who requested I provide her with ASMR. Haruraiv san jen. Osho marin desu. Ahoy, osho marin desu. I really like Happy Synthesizer. It's a really, really, really good song. Happy Synthesizer, kimi no mune no oku made totoki yo na melody ga natteru yo. Yeah, and do I know Japanese? Nihongo janai desu. Demo, ore wa, I am learning conversational Japanese. But no, like I could spend the time and learn like what a whole song is translated. But yeah. Are there any? Am I bilingual? I can speak Japanese only sort of, but I can speak almost fluent Spanish. So yeah, AB Spanish kids. Okay, I'm stopping this. Question. What do I think about Palette compared to other Nikki songs? I don't think Palette is one of Nikki's better songs. Palette's okay, though. Nikki's best songs are Jitterdoll, Error, plus Reverse, like that trio of songs. I think Grave is pretty good. But I don't think Palette is, like, amazing. Palette's okay, though. Palette's definitely okay. Was Music School fun? Music School was fun. Japanese learning tips? Buy textbooks. This is maybe just the gifted kid in me, but I think if anyone wants to, the best way to learn anything for real is to get a textbook and treat it like you're at school. That's how you learn things. Ara. Okay, cool. Yeah. ¿De dónde es la leche? Oh dear. But yeah, that's I think that's about that. I think we'll wrap up here, just saying that you should go listen to Kashidoki-san here, because this is just the best song that I've listened to in a while. Look at that face. That's a face that's a face that no one could hate. If you hate that song, if you hate this face, then I'm sorry, I don't want to know you. I don't want to know you. I don't want to be your friend. But yeah, thank anyone who joined me. The best way to learn Japanese is to watch YouTubers. Like, I guess, I mean, like, that'll definitely teach you, like, pronunciation and, like, flow of sentences. But anyway. Yeah, this will probably be the end here. This will stay archived, so don't worry. And, can we expect more David Toth content? I'm a content machine, baby. I'm a content machine. No, I can't be stopped. Elevator music. And, yeah. Everyone go subscribe to Hashima. That's my real parting gift here. You want to see the things I like? These are the things I like. But anyway, yeah. Good luck, everyone. See you on the flip side. We'll review more Will Stetson content when there's more Will Stetson content to review. Ara.